So what's the difference between Beijing and Shanghai?
For me personally, I like Beijing better because Shanghai seems way too international for me.
然后北京这边的，比如说，演出什么的，10点、11点之前就必须要结束了，但是上海不是这样。
除了在 CBD 之外的地方，其实北京看上去不太像那种一线城市之类的感觉。
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Aiden. This video I interview foreigners in Chinese. What are the difference between Beijing and Shanghai? And what are some recommendations for people who want to come visit Beijing? So let's go find out. Thank you so much for your time. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Adit and I'm from India. I'm doing my PhD here in International Relations and Political Science, and I've been living in Beijing now. This is my second year, but I've also lived in Suzhou for 3 years when I was doing my bachelor's. Yeah.
So you've been to Shanghai also?
Oh yeah, of course. I've been to Shanghai a lot of times because Shanghai and Suzhou is super close. We used to take like a lot of half-an-hour trains, but actually it's not really half an hour because you need another half an hour to get inside Shanghai. So it's actually an hour, but everyone tells everyone that it's just half an hour.
So what's the difference between Beijing and Shanghai?
For me personally, I like Beijing better because Shanghai seems way too international for me. There's a lot of foreigners, and sometimes it almost feels you're like in a Western country, you know? Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like it's a Western city. And the reason why I like Suzhou and Beijing is like because it has that mix where you know you're in China too, so you got a modernization mix too, but then you also got their ancient culture mix too, especially Suzhou with their gardens, and then Beijing also.
I guess like if people want the life more internationalized, westernized, they go to Shanghai.
Sure. In my experience, maybe it's not, I haven't met everyone in Shanghai because it's big, but then most of the Chinese people I met in Shanghai were also westernized.
Ooh,
yeah,
sweet.
a lot.
I haven't been to, but I felt like I should go there.
You should, yeah. So even the Chinese friends that I have were more interested in knowing about Western culture and people there.
What do you think of Beijing?
I love the hutongs. I love like walking or cycling past those places, just observing things. And like the hutongs here is amazing because it looks super traditional, but they've like squeezed in modern restaurants and shops in there also. So then you know you're living in the 21st century, plus you know you're going back in time too. So I love that feeling. Yeah.
Okay. What about the weather?
I think Shanghai is warmer, right? Shanghai is not as cold. I mean, it's been a while since I've been to Shanghai, but as I remember, like Shanghai, Suzhou, very similar, and it doesn't get as cold as Beijing.
我叫萨日娜，我是蒙古族，然后老家是内蒙那边的，但是从小就是跟着爸妈在北京，所以也没回去过。中间2年是出国读书来着，然后最近在北京工作了。
之前在哪留学？
瑞典。
Sweden。
对 ，Sweden 挺好的。
你觉得北京跟上海有什么区别？
我觉得上海消费还是高一点，人和人之间距离感可能比北京要就是。
你觉得北京人会比上海人更亲切？
啊，对。
你觉得上海跟北京除了文化上还有什么差别？
就是我觉得上海好玩一点。
怎么说？
就是上海的活动啊什么的要比北京多，然后北京的政治压力比较大嘛，然后报批什么的，比如说看一个演出就比较难，然后上海那边一般都没什么问题。对，因为我比较喜欢听这些音乐什么的，我知道报批流程在北京特别慢，然后呢卡得非常严，然后北京这边的比如说演出什么的10点、11点之前就必须要结束了，但是上海不是这样。
还有这样的规定？
就是怕扰民，然后就会有警察在门口盯着。
所以北京的演出相比上海会更少一些。
对，是这样的。北京经常就是因为它办下来的话，观众肯定也多嘛，但是它很费劲，然后有的时候主办会搭钱进去就不值当，所以上海在这一方面还是要松一点的。
明白。谢谢你。
Hello， 我叫达娜，我来自新疆，我是一名哈萨克族。
Hello， 大家好，我是摄影师 Rio。
我觉得上海更国际化一点，就北京会更接地气一点吧。
中国化一点的表述，我觉得上海和北京分别代表了中国的面子和中国的里子。上海可能更多的就是一个代表了中国最先进、最接近跟世界接轨的这么一个地方。北京代表的是里子，就是它的内核其实很中国，
好的一个说法。
我来自北京，然后在北京经营自己的古着店。
你是这个老板？
我们都是，他也是啊。
我来自山东我们店是挨着的。
你们去过上海吗？
我去过，
我也去过，但是没待太多时间。
这个我说也跟我息息相关的，因为我之前是做乐队的， 然后我们喜欢朋克音乐，但是上海比较更喜欢电子乐或者那种爵士乐，因为比较小资一点儿。完了呢，北京我觉得就更 local 一点，然后更适合那种燥的猛的那种摇滚乐。这个我觉得在音乐方面差距还是很大的。对，你如果做朋克乐的话，肯定是在北京，因为它更有力量，更有冲劲儿，就是那种感觉。因为北京就比较压抑，你能明白吧？
真的假的？北京很压抑。
对，
我觉得北京自然风景蛮多的。
规矩太多了啊，对。
北京好多乐队挺地下的，然后上海感觉有些乐队挺时髦，还是
可以细的讲一讲为什么觉得上海更时髦吗？
啊，或者包括我去上海，看大街上的人，我感觉就是我觉得上海跟成都都很时髦。当时我去上海，我一看，我操，这不是东京吗？就感觉那感觉，就它很日本，就那些人穿着打扮。然后北京普遍来说就更素更低调啊，这是我就是说着装上感觉，而且上海我觉得更国际化。对，因为外国人可能更多一点，我觉得上海，然后咖啡店更多呀，完了，包括它那些爵士酒吧也多，但北京就很少。
我是感觉从服装这个行业，好像上海也会更时髦一些，北京这边确实更接地气一些吧，
保守一点。
对对对。
I'm Tom. I'm a father. I'm a filmmaker, and I'm here in Beijing with this great man who's grabbed me off the street and wants to interview me. I have no idea what he's going to say.
What do you think the difference between Beijing and Shanghai?
Honestly, Shanghai is a better city. I'm sorry. I think Shanghai is more international. It still has that energy that Beijing used to have. I was just there a few weeks ago. Beijing is the center, the capital of China. So people are slightly more reserved, whereas you go to Shanghai, people are a bit more free to speak their mind. That's my opinion. I think like Shanghai, just a bit more of an international city.
What are your recommendations for people who want to visit Beijing?
If you want to come to Beijing, you got to go to, we're here at Sanlitun, this is where all the Western food is. Beyond that, you want to check out Nanlu Guxiang. You can pronounce it for me. Nanlu Guxiang.
I've never heard of that.
You know, the drum tower, check out some of the old city. Just enjoy yourself, yeah.
我叫王静琪，然后我在北京住，但是我是河南人。北京说实话国际化没有那么高，它包容度没有那么高，然后老年人会更多一点吧。但是上海，就是对于我来说，上海可能比北京更洋气一点。北京和上海在那种硬装上面，就是装修上面的风格还不太一样。北京可能更多是这种楼，除了在 CBD 之外的地方，其实北京看上去不太像那种一线城市之类的感觉。但是上海就有很多像什么洋楼啊，就是这种，然后可能更受外国人喜欢一点。
如果来北京旅游，有什么地方一定要去的？
我说实话，故宫真的很好看，但是我觉得它不太适合夏天去，因为很热。我觉得冬天、秋天、春天去都比较好。然后，北京还有很多胡同，然后胡同里面其实有很多很好吃的东西，然后也很地道的东西。一些景点购票的话，我觉得这个要联系一些，比如说旅行社什么的，帮你去抢，因为现在票真的很难抢，就是他放票放的不是很多，而且抢的人还特别的多，然后还很快就会被抢没，所以就是要做好，如果想提前看这些景点，要提前做好购票的准备。
哦，哇，这个我完全没想到，因为我听说紫禁城很难进
啊，对，特别，他那个票被炒到很高，就是一张票可能被黄牛能炒到1000多人民币，这样就是很恐怖，所以
谢谢，很实用的建议。来北京一定要去哪些地方？
天安门你肯定要去，故宫这些大家都知道的。然后像我最喜欢的一个地方是滨海公园，那里非常的舒服。你去那边坐在那边，然后看着那个湖，你会感觉你有在给你发送一些灵气的感觉。那片湖就很漂亮。对，我建议大家。北海公园 ，sorry。
对，胡同可以逛一逛，
对，胡同
对吧？然后鼓楼那附近。
北京一定要品尝什么美食？
涮肉，铜锅涮肉。
对，烤鸭。
哦，我超喜欢烤鸭。哪家烤鸭店最好吃？
天外天。对，
我吃过便宜坊
啊，便宜坊啊。
那也可以。
对，也不错。
涮肉的话，我有一家要推荐，叫老门框，就是你真的吃了他们家的涮肉，你就能 知道其实涮肉跟涮肉之间是有差别的，有差距的，非常棒。
描述的这么眼睛都发光了。
我推荐他去的地儿，并不是说那些有名的什么故宫什么那些，我觉得就是去五道营胡同有一个叫死固酒吧，他能感受好的摇滚乐。然后呢，如果他喜欢电子乐的话，可以去北京的比如九元桥附近就有一个 Solo， 然后还有一个是 P.U. Box 吧，还有一个叫达达，那些地儿就是比较好的电子乐的地儿。然后摇滚乐的地儿呢，可能我觉得死固是最 underground 的，就最像美国 CBGB 那种感觉的。然后如果他想逛一些古着的话，我推荐他去798，
可以来798转转，798氛围还是挺好的，对，有一些艺术氛围。
Okay, thank you guys for watching. So what do you guys think? Myself, haven't been to Shanghai yet. I think Beijing now is like -1 degree. The same time for Shanghai is like 15 to 20 degrees. If I go to Shanghai soon, I will ask people in Shanghai the differences between Shanghai and Beijing and Shanghai and Hong Kong. So I'll see you guys in the next video.